To speak to an expat on the ground living in the Muslim country you're considering, go to consultation.makehijrah.com.
All right, man. We're close to being on time. Alhamdulillah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, sir. Barakatuh. So
Mhm.
let's hop right into it. We're just a few minutes late, and we'll allow for some people to jump in if there's anybody. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
Okay, but
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.
first up,
Wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Go ahead, bro.
As-salatu was-salam.
Go ahead, man.
No. So tell me how you been, Akh. Tell me how you been. What you been up to?
Man, I'm
What have you been up to?
Alhamdulillah.
Mm.
It's a lot going on, but I guess that's a good thing, man. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Okay.
Uh,
What that's it.
no,
Come
no,
on,
no.
Akh, man.
So basically,
Like
we just
what?
we
Give me
just
some
had
stuff.
no. I'm gonna tell you, we just got some. We just had a networking event here, and we've been doing it
Okay.
since the beginning of the year. I think even before that, we were doing it. No, last year, until last year, we were doing these network events each month, and basically
Mhm.
they've turned it into something kind of organized. So the last event, there were it was a nice turnout, a lot of brothers there, and we started to have little workshops with the events. So this time there was a workshop on uh, not necessarily wealth building, but kind of like budgeting your money and understanding your money and your income, and how to manage it, especially when you're overseas. Because it's a little bit different, as you know.
Mhm. Mhm.
Uh, then there was a workshop about job search, which was a really good one, like how to find a remote working job, right? And that's a whole track that you can take. Like first the job search, the interview.
Okay.
There is different skills related to that that a lot of us don't have. So that was a good one and that's something that inshallah we'll talk about today as well.
You
And then there was a
mm.
brother that was kind of like I guess you could say an expert in teaching English, and he gave his like a
Mhm.
little workshop on a good ways to teach English, or effective ways of teaching English. And then finally, there was um, there was a workshop on uh, real estate investment, which was a pretty good one. And it was a guy we brought in, an Egyptian guy
Okay.
that has been a real estate investor for like 15 years. So he kind of explained how real
Mhm.
estate works in Egypt, and that was really interesting, man, because it's a cultural thing. It's different than other places. Every place has its cultural real estate purchasing thing. That's the culture affects how people buy, and Egypt has its own thing uh, because of the culture and families. A father might purchase something for their son. It's like he might even feel like he has to do it, and even for his daughters, he might purchase an
Mhm.
apartment for them
Mhm.
for when he gets married. Like that's a written in stone thing in Egypt, and I think you know that. They expect when you get married to buy an apartment. That's most cases.
Yeah, yeah, kind of.
So yeah, so
Well, yeah,
yeah,
the son, the father, the groom. Mm.
yeah. Um, so that's a really deeply embedded cultural thing. So let's say that the
Yeah, we
father,
got a little bit of a delay, bro.
yeah, no problem. We'll just work through it. So if for example, the father, he
Mm.
he gets some money like he does a good business deal and he gets a lump sum of money. He's thinking of where he can stake that money that's most beneficial for his family. So, and that may be in a real estate project. So that's not always the case for other people, other cultures, you know. So anyway, that was a really enlightening that was a really enlightening workshop because it tells you if you're investing, how to invest and what to invest in. So there's different types of projects, blah blah blah. So I think it was a really good, beneficial networking event. And now, alhamdulillah, there's a co-working space that the brothers have. So um, there's rooms and different types of workshop rooms and things like that in there. So alhamdulillah, man, you'd be surprised, bro, what's going on, man. It's a lot different than it used to be. A lot more people are moving out. A lot more people are doing things. Before, when I first came to Egypt, it was more or less like study. That was it. And even you, and when you came, you wanted to go to Ashar 3 or 4 times in a row. So that was, that was the thing. So alhamdulillah, now there you have that and you have this. So you have people that are coming to live and you have people that were studying. So now I think we lost something, inshallah. We'll bring them back. But it was a really good event. And brothers started to take boat trips to go on yachts out into the Red Sea. And some of this stuff, it sounds extravagant, but it's really not. It's not even like it doesn't cost almost anything if you get a group of brothers to do it. Like you pay like maybe $60 or something like that to ride on a yacht for the whole day. So and those are networking events that are happening. And it's not just Egypt. It's happening in Saudi Arabia. It's happening in Medina. And mashallah, like brothers are really doing things. And the funny thing is that brothers are finding success, um, networking success and everything else, and meeting people like high level people that they possibly wouldn't have a chance to meet in the States or in these Western countries. People that are doing really big things, big developments. I was just with a brother yesterday, and he's showing me the projects that they're working on in Medina, and you wouldn't believe it. It's crazy types of projects that you know that have the backing of the Ministry of Investment, and he's rubbing shoulders with all these different major players. So the the opportunities are really changing, and people need to take advantage of it now before it gets saturated. You know. So anyway, I prepared this something for this live that's a little different than what we've been doing, and brother, and we can really speak about this like off the top of our heads. You know, brother Hamza, as soon as I pull up the slides, he can just jump in. He never saw the slides, but he'll already know what we're talking about here. And I'm building this live off of the back of a video that we did, or that we put together. The last video that came out, which was about how, and for the first time in almost 100 years, more people are leaving America than coming in. And the point of that video was a lot of people are leaving and want to leave, but they should prepare, and it shouldn't just be a emotional move. Like you should prepare as much as you can, which brings us to the title of this live of what would we have done differently? What could we have done differently in hindsight? Like I'm sure I came, I ran away from America. I wanted to leave, and brother Hamza the same. You wanted to leave. So is there something that we could have done differently? Of course it's done. Like you can't take it back. But The point is just, it's like in retrospect, to give advice to others of what they could do before they decide to move, and just to prepare themselves better. Anything you want to say, bro, before I pull up these slides? I know that looks fancy, huh? Alhamdulillah. So, all right. So let's go over these this concept. So
Yeah, we've appeared to frozen again, but we'll get back to it as soon as we can, inshallah, people.
let's do this. Bismillah. Hold on a second. Let me see something. Okay. So
All right.
okay. So we talked about four issues in that video. The first was income, how to get or having a steady income before you move, having a way that you earn before you move. And we'll talk about that a little later, like the different things that we actually see people doing, not theory, like what we actually see people doing. Either we've done them ourselves or we've seen them done by others.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing is country to income match. If your income is too low to sustain yourself in a particular country, then that country shouldn't be on your list. It should be like maybe a country you should go to later. An example of that is Qatar. Like Qatar, the the cost of living generally is not that expensive, but the rent is really expensive in Qatar. So you have to be able to sustain yourself in a country, even though Qatar is beautiful. Qatar is clean, is nice, everything like that. But at the end, if you can't sustain yourself there, you're going to have hardships being there. So you need a country to income match. And the third thing is the fact finding mission, which we always advocate that you need to go to a place first before you decide to move there. That's a recommendation, you know, and that's something that Brother Hamza talked about that he did before he moved to Egypt. And he can speak for himself, but he came to Egypt twice before he decided to make the move to move to Egypt. Bro, am I choppy?
No. Yeah, I'm going to take it from here, bro. Yes. So basically, I had what did I went to Dubai, I went to Ghana. I done, yeah, very choppy, bro. Very, very choppy.
You couldn't
But
understand anything I said?
and there's a delay as well. And I
I
keep
don't know.
getting this thing up on my street. Not very much, actually. Not very much at all.
All right. That's not good. But let's see. Let's keep
But
keep
anyway,
going.
I'll jump in and basically explain what I did before I decided that Egypt was the. I mean, with my situation, obviously, I ended up coming on my own. With just a bag of money, a bismillah and a bag of money. Yeah. And alhamdulillah, Allah had me. I ended up getting a job. Well, must have been like 2 years, 2.5 years. Chit Chat English, which was mine and Omar's English thing, English teaching, private teaching. And then I was able to get myself a business partnership with some Egyptians, alhamdulillah. But what would I do different? I mean, listen, it's
Wait,
very
hold on,
easy
Hamza.
to say. What would I?
Hold on, bro.
No.
Wait. Hold on. Let's go through the presentation. I prepared a presentation, so you're gonna get a chance to explain all of that, inshallah. So,
Oh, this is the present.
I don't.
Oh,
Yeah, there's a presentation, right? So,
Mish.
give me a second. Let me, because that's what I was trying to say. That you don't need a script for
No
this.
problem.
All right. So,
No,
we
I
said
don't.
fact
I
finding
don't.
mission.
100%.
So, fact finding missions.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
encourage people to do that, just to go to the country, see if it fits, and don't go there as a tourist. You go there as
Mhm.
somebody that's trying to move, which is a different mentality, you go to different areas, because you might be unimpressed
Mhm.
with the touristy places, and a lot of times there's a lot of hustling going on, a lot of things that might make you feel uncomfortable, because people, that's how they make their
Mhm.
money. So you're gonna have people hustling all over the place, so it may not be a pleasant experience. So the best thing to do is to go find a group of people that are living there, and go and live where they live, and live your life for, I would, some people say up to a month if it's possible, but it's the longest amount of time you can, so you can experience it,
No.
because obviously the first day is not going to be like the after 2 weeks or 3 weeks of being in a place. So that's fact
Mhm.
finding mission. And the fourth thing is the visa and residency, figuring that out, or having a plan for that or a strategy for that before you even leave. And if you, for some reason,
Mhm.
can't get that information, you can get that information from a simple consultation. Just book a consultation. And that's important. It's not a money making thing, because
Mhm.
I know brothers that charge $600 an hour for a consultation, and they don't care what you think about it, right? And, and for us, we're like $97, and it goes primarily to the consultant. Like the bulk of it goes to the consultant. It doesn't come to us. So um, so it's really a service that you need, so that you can kind of map these things out and have the information you need. You can't do it on your own. Don't think you're going to go to the website and figure it out, especially Egypt, especially Egypt.
Mhm.
It'll say something on the website, and it'll be something totally different once you get there. And it's just, just a matter of information and how things have changed and how quickly things change. So you need to talk to somebody that's there. So, and that's anywhere. If you're going to Egypt, Malaysia, anywhere, you need to talk to them, figure out how you're going to stay there once you get there, and have a plan for that. So tonight, we're going to talk about um, just the income part. And I want to
Mhm.
show you visually what we mean and why this is so important. So let's just go ahead and move to the next slide. So one of the things that I recommend people do now, that actually when I left, I had a business. So I had an income, but it wasn't on purpose. It wasn't like it just happened to be that way. I had enough money to bring my family, and by the way, it wasn't Hijrah. It was, I'm going to learn Arabic and whatever. So I had a plan to go back, and then once I actually came to the Muslim world and lived, I didn't see a reason to go back. So it became that. It wasn't that initially. So, and even people can have that intention. They're going to go see what it's like for, a few years or a year or whatever, go into a program or something like that, and then decide what they're going to do after that. But in any case, you need an income. If only if you're sure that you're just going to be there 6 months, okay, then you have a 6 month savings or something like that. But if you plan, or it's a possibility that you might stay in a place that you like it and you're going to stay, look, income is the biggest hack you can have when it comes to making hijrah. And there's a number of ways that I put here, and Hamza can chime in, because I think he did a lot of these things. So the first one is remote work, and we promoted different remote work opportunities, but these aren't the only ones. These are just Muslim companies that it's probably better to, I mean, I'm sure you'll feel more comfortable working with Muslim companies and trying to find remote work, but remote work is a huge, uh, it's a huge open field and how you can get different types of remote work. You can even get customer service jobs and all different type of jobs that don't require that you be present in the workplace. So that's a whole route that you could take. And then we know brothers that do remote work, and especially there's a brother named Abdullah. He's in our consultation group, but he has a whole. If you start talking to him about it, like he'll tell you where to go find the jobs, how many resumes to submit uh, per day. He'll tell you how to do the interview. That's important as well. He'll tell you how to do the work because that's important too, because you're not in the country, so you need to know how to do the work from remote, not remote a city away or a state away, remote from another country. So he has that whole A to Z information. But remote work is definitely a way. And then we'll get into the financial parts because you can work remotely from the States and you can be making six figures. So that's amazing to make six figures and you live in a Muslim country, considering the difference in cost of living. It's like a crazy ratio. And I've seen brothers, they buy property and do things that they wouldn't be able to do if they were in the States, even on six figures. Living in certain cities, excuse me, living in certain cities, uh, you barely be able to sustain yourself. So if you live in a Muslim country, which is crazy, is what this is the last point. It's really crazy to have a six-figure job, living in a this type of economy. You have something to say? Hunter, go ahead.
No, no. I mean, like I agree with you 100% of what you're saying about remote work. But I think it's only fair that we give both sides of the coin, because out of these 6 points here, you're gonna have negatives and positives. You're gonna have, yeah. So I mean, I personally think, looking at all these six here, there are more positives than there are negatives. Like with the remote work, which is where we're going to start from, you're working for somebody else. So in a worst case scenario, unless you're what they call a private contractor, like somebody who's working in IT, jobs come and go. You might get, we no longer have a vacancy for you, and you're a continent away. So what I would suggest is, don't push away the remote work option, because it's a very good option. But at the same time, like Omar was saying, you'll be earning a lot. You'll be your surplus income will be a lot more than it would be if you was working in Europe, US, or UK, for example. So just make sure that you have enough cash stacked for, as we would say, a rainy day. But really and truly, it's for, at any point of time, you might have a disagreement with your line manager. Your internet connection might go down, and they think, well, okay, this is a remote work, and we need you to be internet ready, and you're not. Sorry, we have to let you go. A plethora of things could go wrong. Yeah, but again, I do want to emphasize the positives for doing a remote jobs far outweigh the negatives. So what I'm talking about is the just in case scenario. Just in case scenario. Like, I mean, I think in an ideal world, I would suggest that anybody doing this would have at least 3 or 4 months monthly salary, just in case money. Because who's to say you might not have to fly back to your country of origin to secure another remote job? Or you might be able to get a remote job while you're in your country of choice, but that takes time to come through. So what you don't want to do is put yourself and your family under any financial stress and mental health stress because you banked on the fact that this remote job was the one for you. You can see it going on until whenever, and then all of a sudden, whoop, the rug is dragged out from underneath you. So yes, remote work, 100% agree. It's something that if you want to go and do, you should do. We highly recommend it, but also look at the possible negatives that can happen. So I think I would suggest you have at least 3, 4, 5, up to 6 months worth of salary in your bank saved, just in case, bi'idhnillah ta'ala, Allah knows best, that the worst should happen.
Yeah, that's good
That's
advice.
basically it.
Yeah, that's really good advice. I want to also say that if anyone has any questions, we're gonna do questions per topic so that it just doesn't get filled up at the end. So if you have a question, feel free to ask your question as we move through the slides. So yes, remote work. I've met quite a few remote workers, and mashallah, like when we get into the figures, you'll understand more. And it's a lot easier to do what Hamza said and have this money saved up when you have a job, a remote working job that has a high salary, which is they're normally the IT type jobs. So moving on, online business. Me personally, I've been doing online business for years, and it's definitely it's first of all, you're your own boss. It does take effort to learn how online businesses work. It takes time to build it, and there are strategies for that. But online business is great because it's location independent, and it means that if I wanted to book a ticket now and go to Umrah, it wouldn't affect anything because everything's online. As long as there's an internet connection wherever I go, then I can open up my laptop and I can. As a matter of fact, it's a lot less intensive once you establish it than a remote working job. It's not a 9 to 5 thing. It's just, okay, you need to open up and start doing something or fix something or fulfill something or talk to your customers or whatever the case is. So online business is worth learning how to build an online business and to start trying to do that now rather than when you need to actually have some money coming in, because sometimes it takes time for it to build. There is a kind of like a gap where you need to have yourself sustained before that business starts working out. I don't know if Hamza has anything to add to that.
No, I mean, I thought we was gonna go downwards and then back up to online business. But just to emphasize what Omar says, the online business has more positives than it has negatives. I mean, for example, like even if you were to set up a mom and pop store, or you was to have any type of business where you're offering a service to an audience, your audience is everybody in the world, basically anybody that's online. Yeah. I myself, up until today, find myself a little bit daunted by online online business. But like, Omar will tell you that an idea, if you sit me, I'll have brilliant ideas, and then Omar will say to me, "Okay, go ahead," and I'm crickets, crickets. But that because and I've from bro, trust me, many a night I've had to ask myself, what is it that I'm, and I think a lot of muhajirs know this as well, bro. Like, what is it that is the barrier? And I think it's the perceived difficulty. People perceive that having an online business is a difficult thing, but it is. It's like walking up a hill that's covered in grease, and you've got shoes with no grip. And I believe it's like that in the beginning. And if you're like me, who's like, I don't like failure, or I'm afraid of failure, which is a bad trait to have. But like, I've been looking at online businesses for years, for years and years and years. And you know, apart from my new YouTube channel, which is my first leap. I mean, obviously, Omar and I set up Make Hijrah together. So any type of online jargon at the time, how I understood it, that needs to be done, I went to the Sheikh for that. He broke it down to me. He told me how it went, and it's only now that I've started Hamza's Hijrah that I've said to myself, okay, I have to get myself around it. I have to do this. Like even I done a video the other day, funny enough, saying that not to jump ahead too much, but I do the back and forth, and I've just come to the point now where it's enough now. So I'm forcing myself to get myself involved in the online business. And another thing, online business does not necessarily mean jumping on YouTube and putting your face out there, because I know some people have an issue with that. You have email marketing. Nobody ever has to know who you are. You have affiliate marketing. Again, nobody has to know who you are. Facebook ads for people. Nobody has to know who you are. There are a plethora of businesses that you can go into as an individual if you know something. And this is another thing. People always say, well, what, especially if it comes to YouTube, for example, or email marketing, doing a newsletter. Like, well, what do I know? Well, the difference between an expert and a novice is one book. Like it's not like you have to study have a master's or a BA or a degree in a particular topic to make you qualified to teach something. No. It could be one book that you've read, that you've chosen to break it down into sections, and now you're passing that on to somebody who hasn't got a clue. That's the difference between an expert and a novice. Yeah. So, and I think, Omar, like, maybe you can chime in on this, but I think, what do you think is the biggest obstacle that people have? Obviously, apart from me, you can use me as an example, no problem. But what do you think? What do you think the biggest obstacle for people who want to get into the online business world, but for some reason they have that reluctance?
I mean, of course, I think it'd probably be like fear of failure. And not everything is going to work. That's just a fact. Yeah, you would be surprised how many businesses I've tried, man. Like, I don't even know. I can't count it, because it's like, to me, we grew up in where it snowed, so it was ice on the ground in the winter, right? And it sometimes you can't see the ice. You slip and just fall, right? Yeah. But you never just lay down. You never just stay there. Like, you fall and you get back up. Always. Like, it's never a time where you're just gonna fall and just stay there. So I give that analogy about anything you're trying to do. It's like, if you fail, okay, make a note of how you failed and then go at it again. And it's been times, bro, where I was like, I really was like, man, I'm not doing this no more, right? And again, they call that entrepreneurial spirit. So it's not for everybody, man. So let's just be honest. Certain things are not for everyone, right? Even though in your mind you might think, well, it's easy, you could do it, but it's not always for everyone. And then one other example of that was there were three of us. We started a business. It was a brick and mortar, and we would sit in the office waiting for people to come and buy what we had. And one of our partners will always sit there with the newspaper looking for a job. It was just
right.
Until now, he's an employee, and he's been working at the same place for maybe 20 or 30 years. So some people are just built that way, where they find stability in being an employee, which is no problem. It's like, we can't, because you need business-minded business owners, and you need employees as well. You need both. And you need the loyalty of a person like that as long as you're paying him his salary, he's there and he's doing his job, So anyway, with online business, it's definitely an option. It's doable, but a person would definitely have to learn how to do it, because there's some moving parts there that you have to know how to set up your business, how to market to people, how to get your information to the right people and everything else. So anyway, moving on. Business run while away. I did that too,
Mm,
where you had people, the business was running and it was making money, and then you can move away and kind of check in on it, right? That's another option for people. And there are people that do that. The business is mature enough that it's working. So you can put people in place or promote somebody that was with you, a partner or whatever, to manage it. And then you can move away and kind of look at it from afar. So if you establish a business wherever you are, it could be any type of business, a store or whatever. That's all that stuff is fading, by the way. Online is taking over a lot of that stuff, but forget about that. Let's just say you have some type of business that you've established, and it can run, and it doesn't need you to just sit there with it. That's a business run while you're away. So all of these things, by the way, we didn't go through everything yet, but all of these things are things that you should be planning ahead for. It's not something that you decide that you're going to do and you make a hijrah in 1 week. It can't be that way. It
no.
has to, you have to, if you don't already have it, you have to start now. And it takes time.
Mhm.
It'll take time. Some people are already halfway there. Like maybe they already have a business, but they still need to be there, you know, and then, good. Now you can plan to at some point be able to move away from that business.
Mhm.
Right. Uh, I don't know if you have something to add to that.
Yeah, I mean, with the business run while you're away, I mean, I'm interested to know because I'm like, okay, I'm just looking for my character. Yeah, I don't think. I mean, I mean, what happened with your business? You just decided to basically say that was enough and then let it go, or did it fail, or did it fail because you wasn't there? Because like obviously there was a lot of trust issues, depending what type of business it is. There's a lot of like I'm putting my livelihood in the hands of somebody else who's a continent away. So I mean, tell me. I
It's
mean,
like, yeah,
mm,
I'll put it like this. Okay. For once our business, okay, we had a training business, right?
mhm,
A
mhm,
computer training business. And that was back in the day, man, when people didn't know much about computers, right?
mhm,
So we would basically train, they were, okay, it was a program called Welfare to Work. So basically, people were on government assistance, and the government wanted to get people off of the government assistance and put them in the workforce. But
mhm,
many of the people didn't have any skills at all. So we we opened our business around that idea. So we were taking government money.
mhm,
So the government would pay for those people to join our courses. I mean, I'm not. I could. We could speak this whole hour about that, but I'm just going to summarize it.
mhm,
So it was very lucrative, right? So after maybe I don't know 6 months, we could say, uh, I was like, I always wanted to get out of here. Like I wanted to go learn Arabic. I wanted to do something. So
mhm,
as soon as it was a chance, because for me, I could, okay, I'm an IT guy, you know, so I can build applications or whatever. I don't have to be here,
mhm,
right? So it was a group of us, and we were all partners, and it was a Muslim business.
mhm.
So the brothers, I trusted the brothers. Like you even know there were some of the brothers.
Yeah,
I'm
of
just not
course.
gonna mention the name,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah, 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 of course. Uh-huh.
So I trusted the brothers. That's another thing. Like the people you working with, you need to trust them. You know,
Mhm,
and you need to see, like, you can make a deal, any kind of deal. I leave and then I come back for a minute or this, and we try to figure out how we can run this while not having to necessarily be there, but
mhm,
our input is there, you know. So eventually, after about I would say less than a year, the business started to fail, and that's a whole nother story. Like I
mhm,
could probably break that down, but it was our ignorance of how things work, because we were making a lot of money and we weren't rubbing the right hands, right?
mhm.
And just for putting it. we were like, no, we would never do that. You know what I mean? And then guess what? Okay, and you're not getting no money then. So
Yeah.
that's what happened. So
No.
anyway, so that was in the middle of the time that I was away.
Mhm.
So I had to go back. And when I went back, we had to figure out what we're going to do to keep the business going, or either keep the business going or start a new business. So anyway, without going into too much detail about that, the point is that um, that having a business run while you're away can work, especially if the business is an established one,
Mhm.
not like a because like I said, 6 months after we started making money, I was out. I'm like, I'm gone.
Mhm.
That's not enough time. 6 months is not enough time, right? You need to sit with it for enough time where you can see that it's actually a well-oiled machine, and then you can leave, and then you can just do your part or whatever you agree to, because all businesses are different. However, it goes. But that is one, an option there. Uh, Another option is if people own homes, to rent the home and collect the rent. And there's ways to do that.
No.
Every place has different ways that you could do that. You do have property management and things like that where you just pay a percentage, and and the property management company collects your rent and everything that sends it to you. I know people who do that and they
Yeah.
live off that.
Yeah. My my
So,
my brother's son-in-law does that. He basically what he does is he approaches he can approach a landlord and say, right, we'll take your property for, I think it's a lease period of 3 or 4 years,
mm,
and then offer the landlord a premium. So, for example, if the landlord is renting a property for 1,500 UK pounds a month, for example, he will be able to offer that landlord £2,000 a month.
mm,
Why? Because he has an understanding with the local authority, the government, let's just say, where because they're looking to put people into temporary housing, they will pay a premium for that property.
mm,
So as long as you're willing to as long as you're willing to allow your property to be managed by someone else, and they're willing to pay you a premium because you're giving them, and it's guaranteed rent. In the UK, we call it the guaranteed rent scheme.
mm,
Yeah. So basically, I would take your property and then I would offer it to the council, and the council will say, okay, we will pay you 3,500 a month.
right,
Yeah. For a period of 3 or 4 years. And then after that, it's reassessed. But me as
mm,
the middleman, yes, I'm taking my cut off the top, but I'm also responsible for maintenance, and any of the temporary tenants damage the property, it's down to me to put it right. And then if for example the temporary tenants are offered a permanent um, property and they move out, it's also down to me to get your property back up to scratch to take in the next lot of temporary tenants, all
right,
while the landlord is sitting back, because whether the property is empty or not, he's getting his rent. And on
right,
top of that, you're getting more than you would get if you was giving it out or trying to rent it yourself. So
right,
there are schemes like that happening. I don't know what's happening in the US, but in the UK, they're kind of hurting the landlords at the moment, because now you have to register it like a business. You have to pay tax returns. Like they're really coming down. You have to have a license now to be a landlord. So, oh, there's Airbnb as well.
right,
Depending where your property is located, Airbnb is not the only company.
right,
There are other companies similar to Airbnb. Depending on your location, depending what type of property it is, you can have your property as an Airbnb property. So there
right.
are options, but I emphasize it's a great idea and all that. I agree with it 100%, but it just needs, like you said, it was like with anything that we've discussed here, do your due diligence, understand how everything works, make sure
Right.
all the I's are dotted and all the T's are crossed. But yeah, that's another very good option.
So, I mean, bro, I had a property, right, when I
Mhm.
left, and I had someone to collect the rent,
Mhm.
and I had just got it before I left. I was just in a hurry to leave, bro.
Mhm.
So um, you have to give it time, man. That's the
Yeah.
thing. Like you have to, like what you're saying, even with the scheme that you're talking about. It's other stuff that you can do in the States. There's rent assistance. There's all kind of stuff that people can get where
Mhm.
the tenant pays $50 and the city pays the rest. So
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
certain things like that, but you can't like start it 1 month and then all of a sudden you made Hijrah now. Like
Yeah.
it's
No,
you have
there's
to you have to do it. You have to do it over time to see
mhm.
how things work. Because as soon as I left, that was out the window. I come back to the States and the city took the house,
Oh.
because it had property taxes, it had whatever. So you have to work it, whatever you're trying to do, and with
Mhm.
your plan, it has to be. You have to set a plan in motion, not just, oh, now I just rented this house out. Now I'm just gonna leave. It's other brothers. They were renting their houses for maybe even years,
Mhm.
and then once they had a steady situation, then they decided to use that as an income for when they arrived in another country.
No.
So again, the whole point of these mentioning these points are just to give ideas to people,
Mhm.
because maybe something here can like resonate with you. Even a remote work job, you shouldn't get the job today and make Hijra tomorrow. It shouldn't be that way.
Yeah.
Like you need to work the job,
Yeah.
get some stability there, and
Mhm.
then decide, okay, now I feel comfortable enough to do it. And that's for everything here: online business while
Mhm.
you're away, everything is the same
Mhm.
way. The only thing that may not be that way, but it still could be, is the Social Security and the pension. That's for retirees generally. And
Mm. Yeah.
I know a lot. I mean, go ahead, you can talk about it. But
Yeah.
from what I know,
Mhm.
like my mother's an example of that. I
Mm.
know many older brothers that are that are taking Social Security or pension, and for them, uh, some of them, it's not like they got the Social Security and they left. It's still the same in that
Mhm.
respect. But
Yeah.
you have to set up the way that uh, that you access your money, that you have to get all these things in place, and then you could do it. So
No.
I don't know. You pushed back a little bit on the
Yeah.
social security thing. Go ahead.
I think maybe because maybe it's your terminology, bro. Like, but the pension, 100%. If you've reached retirement age, or you're at the point where you can take um, early retirement, 100%. Like you're good for the rest of the days that Allah decides to give you. You're concrete. Um, Now, if I'm talking from a British perspective, um, Social Security, and now, unfortunately, even we call it disability allowance.
Mhm.
So let's say, for example, you have an ailment, you have a disability, all right? So now what they're doing in the UK is that even though the world knows that your disability is not something that's going to get better,
Mhm.
yeah, the government here are they still want to assess you every so often, because what they're trying to say is that we want to have more disabled people back into the workforce, which initially sounds okay, yeah. But now what they're doing is you have to have assessments, and some of these assessments are either in person, somebody comes around to assess you, or they send you huge documents that are basically what do you call it, multiple choice questions. And I
Mhm.
haven't read one, to be fair, but from what I'm hearing from the media and all that, it is so in depth. So to the potential muhajir, if you have a pension and you know you're good for the rest of your life, bi'idhnillah, then that's bomb proof, as we would say. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, if you're on Social Security, meaning, for whatever reason you think that they're paying you a reasonable amount, which they probably ain't because you're unemployed. Yeah, don't do that. Don't make Hijrah on. I'm talking from the UK perspective. Don't
Right.
make Hijrah if you're unemployed and you're getting money every week. I wouldn't make Hijrah if you are receiving state benefits because you are disabled, because the government may have what we say in England, they've written you off. Not literally written you off, but you're written off meaning you have an inability to work because of your disability. Yeah. Now, that would be fine and good if they had left it alone. But now, because of which the government are using it, the reason of equal rights, a lot of disabled people are saying, well, no, we want to go back to work. Yes, I am wheelchair ridden, for example, but I can type, I can do this, I can do that. Yes, I have mild Down syndrome, which means I can enter the workplace, I can communicate and all this type of stuff, which is great. Nobody's knocking that. But for a muhajir, unless you have a disability where the government writes you off literally and says there's not even any point of assessing this person because we know that their ailment is never ever going to get better. But unfortunately, the case is you walk into a room and you see a person's condition, you know by looking at that person, well, unless they make you bionic or there's some breakthrough in medicine where they can bring you back to being an able-bodied person that actually enter the workplace, unfortunately, brother or sister, that's you. But still, the government want to assess any reason. And if you don't fill out this form, bro, or you don't pass the assessment, they cut your money. They cut your money until that problem is sorted out. So I don't know what it's like for the States, man, but here,
No,
so
Social
that,
Security, Social Security in the States, you pay into it as you're working, so that once you hit retirement age, you gain access to this Social Security, and then there's other things that pass down to your kids and all this kind of stuff. So it's a little bit different than
yeah, I
what
think
you're saying.
so,
That
bro.
your joint sounds real cool. You know what I mean?
What? Yeah, it's cold out here,
So,
bro.
right. So, all right. Now this next point, it's not really the last. So let me interject one that we didn't put here, and that's working in the country. And you've done that before. And then people go to different countries for that purpose. Like they go to the Khaliji areas where they're paying to work in universities and teach English in centers and blah, blah, blah. So people go there to work. And I've seen a lot of brothers, mashallah, I've seen brothers do really well doing that. Um, I've seen brothers hopping around in different jobs and things like that. So that I didn't add here because that's not preparing before you leave. That's like going there for the job. So that's why I didn't add it here. So the back and forth work, I'll introduce this, but Brother Hamza can speak more extensively on this, because you're actually
No.
doing this.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
what I've seen with this is that I've seen mainly Somali community. That man is gone, and he's back and forth. He comes every few months. That's not all of them, but that's a lot of them. And it's not always that he's some high level something. It's like he might go just to drive taxi and come back.
Yeah, that
You
man's
know,
a mini cab driver, bro. Yeah.
yeah, he's just a hustler. So that being said, is that the ideal thing? That's something Brother Hamza could probably, tell you the pros and cons of that. But that's being done. And then I've also seen people do that and buy properties and do things like that because they're getting that money over there. Their family's here. They're paying for their family's expenses and they're working night and day. They might work 3 jobs. So if you don't have nothing to worry about, then you could work 3 jobs or 2 jobs and a half and send that money. And then also have a plan like, okay, I'm going to buy some property, which is going to eliminate our rent and all of that, because that's kind of probably going to be your biggest expense. And put these kids through school. A lot of them put them through university. Doing that, you're going to miss some time with your family, of course, But this is definitely a strategy. And then some of them end up coming after they complete everything, they get to stay longer and longer and longer intervals. So, Brother Hamzi, this is what you're doing right
Yeah,
now. So why don't you break it down? What are the pros and cons
yeah.
of
Let
this?
me let me. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna deal with the pros and the cons. The pros are many. Um, Obviously, well, number one, as long as you've placed your family in a position in a country where you feel comfortable by saying, okay, my family is going to be good here. So if that's going to happen, like with my family, obviously my family's Tanzanian, they're in Tanzania, they're around their family, they're around their friends. So I feel quite comfortable that my family is going to be okay while I'm not there. Okay. So I have that, I have that stress released removed. Obviously, yeah, we're back. Yeah, I'm earning the British pound. So now I've been able to um, give my family a lifestyle, not extravagant. We're comfortable. We're comfortable, and at the same time, we're able to save money for a long-term plan. And the long-term plan is I'm going to build. I'm building a poultry business that's doing quite well at the moment. We've just built, or we're building 3 studio flat apartments for rental. My wife is drawing rent from a shop that I built her, and this is all while I'm coming backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. So it does enable, like when I'm here working in the UK, I don't have, theoretically, I do have distractions, but theoretically, you shouldn't have any distractions. Like Omar was saying, 2 jobs, yeah, working night and day, and I would recommend that you calculate how much does it cost per month for you to cover the expenses and put a percentage of that money away for savings for future planning. Yeah. Once you come up with that figure, that's what you're aiming, and then you multiply that by the amount of time that you want to spend with your family while you're there. So let me take my example. It's the easiest example. Yeah. Now, because um, my wife is a native Tanzanian and I'm a non-Tanzanian, I don't automatically get residency, even though I'm married under Tanzanian law. Okay. There's a number of ways I can get it, which is basically if I set up a business and she's the director and I'm the co-director, or I set up a business under my name, or if I continue to enter and leave, enter and leave, enter and leave Tanzania for a period of 7 days, so sorry, 7 years, then I can go for I think it's called a naturalization visa, where I have to know the history of the country. I have to know a little bit of Swahili and just show them that I've taken on board Tanzanian culture. Okay, so there are benefits. There are benefits of working this way. Now, the costs. Okay, this is what I'm have gone through and personally going through at the moment, which is now I've now come to the point where I have to change direction. But anyway, I've always advised in any of my videos from back in the first Make Hijrah channel, yeah, even in the channel that I'm doing now, which is called Hamza's channel, Hamza's Hijrah, is you never ever stay away from your family for more than 3 months. Yeah, never. I mean, that's the plan. That's the plan that we had, and I promised that, like, I will not. If it's out of my hands, I understand. But if I can raise the money, because this is what, check this. This is what I have to do. I have to send money home that is going to look after my family. Then I have to save enough money to the side to make sure that when I go home for 3 months, I don't have to worry about the bills because they're paid for the next 3 months. That's what it takes. And because of my position and what I do for a living and my trades and all that kind of stuff, it was quite easy. I was making that 3 months. Sometimes it went to 4 months. Some very rarely it went to 5 or 6 months. Okay. So now we're talking about the costs. The costs are, which is what we're going through at the moment, the cost of living in the place that you're working. Yeah. Those who are watching this or listening to this from the UK, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. Like like the cost of living has gone up ridiculously. They're blaming the war in Iran, which is ridiculous. It's just a lie. It's just one way of sucking money out of us. We have taxes that are open and we have taxes that are stealth. Yeah. Like the price of things have just gone through the roof. So now that affects my bottom line for me to go home. I'm still sending housekeeping home every week. Bam, 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 bam. But I'm supposed to be saving for when I go home and I'm not going to have any income for the next 3 months. Why? Because I'm there. I'm struggling to do that now. I'm struggling to do that now. So it has to come to a point where enough is enough. Like I've been in the UK now. It's going to be a year in October. That was never the plan. The plan was that because of when we timed when I would be coming back home, it would mean that I would be back in the UK for December. And in December, there are 2 weeks where nobody does anything. So I'm not earning. So we had planned it that okay, stay until December, yeah, and then you'll go back to the UK. I think it's like February, beginning of March. So then I said, okay, well, if I'm going to be here, I'm not just going to be here sending home money for just for sake of sending home money. Give me a project. Let's work towards something, which is why we came up with the apartments. Yeah. So I said, okay, fine, we'll do the apartments. All while this is going on, I'm seeing it daily on the news, bro. The government are turning the screws, turning the screws, turning the screws, turning the screws, turning the screws. And now it's got to the point where even though I promised my wife I'll be home in December, Allah knows best, bro. Because I can make my weekly, my monthly commitments to make sure my family's education, my kids' education is paid for, there's food on the shelf. Obviously my wife is helping with the poultry business, but I've basically said to her, no, that money is to be banked because in the long term, that poultry business is what's going to allow me to stay there long term. Yeah. So if you can, don't touch that money. Just save that somewhere. Put it under the mattress or whatever. That money's can't be touched. Leave it to me to pay the bills. Like we have. Just forget that the poultry business is bringing any money at all. Just bank that money. So because now of where I am, and I'm sure there's other brothers and sisters who, if they're listening in Europe, you're going through the same stuff as well. It's not just the UK. So that's the costs. You're away from you can be away from your family for long periods of time because of things that are out of your control. Yeah. I mean, I always say there's two things I always say. Never stay away from your family for more than 3 months and FaceTime your family every day. Even if you haven't got nothing to say, you're just looking at each other over WhatsApp. That's fine. Make sure you do it. I used to do it once a day. I do it twice a day now. I speak to my wife in the morning so we can discuss what's happening with the house, everything good, okay, this, that, the poultry farm, how's it doing? Has she got any customers? Every day, husband and wife stuff. And in the evening, I speak to my children to find out whether they've done homework. We have a joke and a laugh. Daddy's on the phone. When I left Tanzania last time, my son, Khalid, goo goo gaga. That's all I got from Khalid. Now we're having conversations in English. These are the things, mashallah, yeah, but these are the things I've missed out on because
Mm.
of things that are out of my control. So it's a good plan. It's a very good plan if you have a means of income that, regardless of the economy, you're going to be all right. Because then,
Mm.
as soon as you land, like for example, as soon as I land back in the UK, I should be booking my ticket for 3 months because
Mm.
I know when day 90 comes, I'm going to be on the plane back,
Mm.
which is what was happening. But unfortunately, because the economy, not just of the UK but of the world, has gone up, it's gone bonkers at the moment. People like me, I'm sure even some of our Somali brothers who are doing this as well, doing this as well. They're feeling the pinch. And the thing is this, last thing, I don't have any overheads. I'm on my mother's sofa, and we
Mm.
split the cost for food. Yeah. So can you can you imagine if I was coming here renting a bed sit, you know what I mean, or paying rent to stay in somebody's room or whatever? I'm fortunate. I don't have any overheads, and I'm a 40-year tradesman, and I'm still feeling the pinch. So yes, it's a good idea if you have the means to be able to go back to your country of origin and know with a surety that after 90 days you would have your over those 90 days, whether you pay your money weekly or pay it monthly, that money's going home to look after your family and they're nice.
Mm.
And also, when you decide to go home for your 90 days, there's enough money in the bank to take you over for those 90 days, and you've got a few quid in the bank to come back to. If you can do that, but obviously it can't be a long, well, I say it can't be. I would strongly suggest that if you have to do it for the next 3, 4, 5 years to build yourself up to a point where you may have a business in your country that you've made hijrah to, you're doing it as an online business, you're pushing your money into an online business, something that makes this back and forth thing temporary. I'm strong because it was all for me. It was always a temporary plan. Do you know
Mm.
what I'm saying? But that temporariness is coming to an end real soon. Like it's
Sound
getting.
like it.
I've been away from my family for a year, brother. 1 year,
Mm.
October. Yeah, and
Mm.
I'm a diehard. You know me, bro. Like like you know
Right.
me already, but like a year.
Right.
So
I didn't know it's been that long, man.
yeah, bro. October's a year, and it's gone
Mm.
like that. Good gaga to having
Mm.
full fun conversations with my 2 year
Right.
old, bro. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it's a good plan in the beginning, and it's a good plan if whatever profession that you're in, the economy is not going to affect you, or you're earning that much that the economy is not going to affect you in doing 90 days away and 90 days home. If you can do that, then continue to do it. But it's always have in the back in your mind, this is only temporary until
Mm.
such time that I get this established or I have that established, or we have a long-term plan, whether it's to have a business in the place where you're living, etc., etc., etc. But like I said, like watch this space, people, because it's good. It's worked for me. I've been able to build a poultry business. My family's living a good life. I'm building 3 apartments. I built my wife her own shop. All
Mm.
being rented. Do you understand what I'm saying? All while I'm
Right.
here. All while
Right.
I'm here. So it's a good plan. But please, ikhwan, ikhwat, it has to be. I would strongly suggest it's a temporary fix.
Mm.
It's a temporary fix, bro.
All right. So we only have one comment here. I
Hmm.
would say remote work is the hardest out of all, especially here in Germany. Companies are not really familiar with this type of work. Yeah,
Hmm.
okay. I mean, in the States, it's a little bit different, especially after COVID. It's just something that that's not it's not strange. So people are doing it. It's the overhead is less for companies. So
Yeah.
you find a lot of remote work, and even even brothers were talking about deals they can make, being on, they call it 1099, which is it's like you're not take care of your own taxes, and you don't have to deal with workers' compensation and all this stuff. You're like an independent contractor. So
And I think they can negotiate the rate of their salary. So if they wanted to, I know I know in the other live the brother was like, "What? Take less?" But I'm just saying, like,
mm,
if you don't need more and you can negotiate a good remote line of work employment and you just take a little bit less, why not? Like, what are you losing?
yeah, if it well, it just I mean, to each his own, but
Mm,
you're right. Here,
mm, mm,
let's move to the next thing, man. We're
mm,
we'll be on here for about 4 hours if we keep going. Okay. So I mention this word a lot, and it's not a common term, the geo
mhm,
arbitrage.
mhm.
And basically it's taking a higher currency and spending it in a country that has a lower currency, if that
Mhm.
makes sense.
No.
So here we're going to use this example. Let's say a person is earning $2,000 a month, and
Mhm.
actually this is a good
Easy.
amount.
This is
Yeah,
easy.
this is a really good amount.
Mhm.
Uh, and your monthly expenses, let's say, are 1,200, and I'll break this down as the slides go on.
Mhm.
And that means that you can save $800 a month. A lot of
Mhm.
people don't have the ability to save $10 a month. So
Mhm.
to be able to save $800 is pretty good. And I'll explain why this is important. And we're using Egypt as an example, but Egypt and other countries are similar. Morocco,
Mhm.
Egypt, Malaysia, Indonesia, a lot of them are similar
Mhm.
costs. And then other ones are more expensive, but it still doesn't reach the level of the Western countries. Okay, so
No.
even Saudi Arabia's and the Kuwaits and these places, even they're higher than this, but they don't reach the Western uh, cost of living, if you ask me.
Mhm.
And if for what you get as well, like if you're gonna pay $1,200, this is $1,200 total,
Mhm.
and $1,200 won't get you just the rent in some
Mhm.
places. Okay, so let's move on from here. So the difference is not really luxury. It's just breathing room, it's stability,
Mhm.
it's having an emergency fund. A lot of people are one emergency away from just being completely bankrupted, right? So let's talk about this. Let's use these graphs. So in Egypt, $500 can get you something decent. Me personally, I pay less than $500 for a big 4-bedroom apartment, right? Um, and for that extra 500, but these are all unfurnished. You have to furnish it and everything.
Mhm.
But so for the extra 2,500, some people you can get a duplex or something like that in a new development in Egypt, and then it can get cheaper if you go further out to newer developments. It gets even cheaper than that. So utilities, $100 a month is fair. Groceries, $400 is a lot. That's
I was
that's
gonna
for a big
say,
family. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's a big family. If you have a
Mhm.
big family,
Mhm.
4 or 5 kids, $400 is could be what you spend.
Mhm.
And then outings, $200. That's fair. That's like every weekend going someplace and whatever. Uh, so
Sorry,
if
Shay,
you have a
can I ask a
go ahead.
question, please? Yeah, a duplex. Can you explain to the viewers what a duplex is?
Okay, so most people live in apartments in Cairo. So basically, a duplex would be 2 floors on top of each other. So you would get normally it would be like the apartment on the first floor, and
Mhm.
then it'd be apartment on the second and third floors like this. But a duplex sometimes, especially in New Cairo, can be the basement
Mhm.
and the first floor together. So it'd be a staircase leading down to the basement, and the basement would be finished, and it'll have like you know um, paneled windows, big pane windows, and it'd be like maybe a rest area and a bedroom or something down there.
Mhm.
They're all different. we lived in a duplex a long time ago where it was just I think it was the fifth and the sixth floor or something like that, and it was just a staircase leading up to the second floor. So it was two apartments on top of each other. So again, these are fair. You can get less than this. You can spend less than this a month.
I think. Sorry to cut you off.
Go ahead, bro.
I think in Malaysia, if let's just say this was, if this was Egypt, I think we were paying less than this in Malaysia.
Probably. Because ours was different. Like yours. Remember, you furnished yours. So you paid less. You paid less rent. I think you paid less than $400 a month.
I was paying £340 UK, which is about just what? No, say $400 US. Yeah,
$400.
So and I had
bearing in mind. Yeah, go ahead. Tell them what you had.
I had 4 bedrooms. I had parking for 2 cars. It was on a gated community, 24-hour security, manicured gardens, and we had like 1, 2, 3. We had 4, I believe, 3 or 4 areas allocated, like parks and swings and all that kind of stuff.
And it was a house.
It was a yes. It was a house.
It wasn't an apartment.
No. It was a house. A house.
Right.
So
for $400 a month.
For $400 a month, bro. And do you remember the fuel costs? The fuel costs was 30 pence. 30 pence. So let's just say that was say 45 to 50 cents a litre before COVID. And then even when COVID kicked in, they upped the fuel prices to 60 cents. And then when they lessened when the door started to open again, they dropped it back down to 40 cents a litre. Yeah. Shopping,
right.
Food shopping. All right, there were me, my wife, Kareem at the time. And we used to go to that farmer's market, that supermarket. Yeah.
You had Dahlia too.
Yes, Dahlia, that's it. Dahlia, and Kareem and my wife. Yeah. If my shopping bill came for the month, because obviously we used to do big shopping for the month, and then we'll top up, or we might need this to top up. Yeah. Things that wouldn't last a month, for example, like fruit and veg and all that kind of stuff. If my shopping bill came to over $120, 100 UK pounds, I'll be checking the bill. I'll be like, what is it? I remember we used to eat out on a regular. We used to eat out on a. Was it Hijrah Fridays, bro? Do you remember Hijrah Fridays? Right. That weren't free. Right. That weren't free food, bro. That weren't free food. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. I mean, like I've always said, yeah. If anybody with a family of 4 or 5, wife, husband, and 3 children, yeah, 2,000 UK pound, 2,200 US. Once you enter the tip of Morocco, yeah, there isn't a Muslim country, if you exclude the UAE and the Emirates and Qatar and all these places. If you exclude those countries there, I'm including Malaysia, I'm including Indonesia, all these Asian countries, there isn't a Muslim country that you can't live comfortably in. Comfortably. Not extravagant, comfortably.
Bro, listen, this right here, this 1,200, you're living comfortable.
Yes, I believe that.
This is not like struggle. You can live for less than this. But if you want to have a decent neighborhood, decent choice of shopping and decent things like that, you can do it with $2,000 a month. You would only spend about $1,200, like what we have here, and then you'll be able to have $800 left over. Now, of course, you can find ways to trick off money.
Yeah, man. Date night, for example.
But yeah,
you're
you
the
could,
man,
yeah,
bro.
you could go to expensive places and stuff. You could do that,
Mm.
but we're talking about here like just a living budget, right? That's where it's not hurting you. It's not struggle. It's decent. So
Yeah.
let's move on. Let's look at this. So in 6 months, if you just live off 1,200 or 1,200 US dollars, and after 6 months you'll have almost $5,000 saved. That's just by just living regular, right? So this it's hard to. I know you understand this, bro, because we had another business that we were running,
Yeah.
and where we did really well, alhamdulillah. And
Alhamdulillah.
you can feel this when the cushion, the ability to, you know what I'm talking about, man.
Yeah,
Anyway,
bro. Yeah, bro.
and we traveled a lot during that time,
Yeah.
looking for other places to go and all that. And it's just a feeling of, I don't know what you can say, man, like
It's
freedom.
ease, bro.
Yeah, I guess
yeah,
ease
it's ease, bro.
that you
Like
couldn't, if you living in the UK,
that what
you could
happened.
live. I mean, mashallah. But but still, it'd have been a lot harder to do
Yeah.
things if you had UK bills.
Yeah.
So and then at that time it was a lot cheaper, even.
Yes.
So so we were in a situation, mashallah, that if you have this type of cushion, and it's not much, it's okay, it's $5,000. Okay, let's move to the next slide. Now this is after a year. So after a year of just saving the what's over the $1,200, now you're talking about almost 10 grand in a year. Now here's something that I'm sharing. It's public, but I'll share. My own mother, when she retired, she was in the States. She was not able. She would have to get another job, right? When she came to Egypt, he was able to, in a few months, buy everything for her apartment. You stayed there before, right?
I've seen Mama's house, yeah, man.
Yeah. So she was everything in there she owned. She didn't owe money on anything, right? It was free and clear. And she told me that she was never able to save that amount of money in her life. And this is we're talking about retirement money. We're not talking about business or anything like that. Just a retired woman that she can't spend over a certain amount. And she doesn't restrict herself. Like if she wants to eat something she gets it. If she wants to buy something she buys it. Even doing that, she's still able to have a big cushion to sit on.
No.
So this is an example, a visual example of after a year, and that year goes by. It's not like you waiting to see something. No, it's just there. You're not touching it, and it's gonna accumulate to this. Now, this is a $2,000 example. What if you had 3? What if you have 4,000?
4,000, yeah.
What if you have 5,000? And it's not a $5,000 month. That's different. Like we hit months where it's this or that. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a steady $3,000 or $4,000 every month for 5 years. All right, let's move to the next slide. So this is a 5-year savings. In 5 years, and trust me, 5 years go. It's not like I think you know what I'm saying. You just said you were there for a year in the UK.
Yeah. No.
How quickly did that year go?
Like that, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Like we just came back to Egypt from Turkey. We've been back almost 4 years.
Wow. Already.
Yeah, it's that fast. So if you're thinking, and it doesn't seem that fast, it seems like yesterday we were in Turkey. Now we're in Egypt, and we've been here 4 years. So in 5 years on that type of just saving without struggle saving. We're not talking about struggle saving. That's like I don't need that. I'm just putting it to the side because I don't need it. After 5 years, you will have about almost $50,000 saved.
And this is $1,200. This is $2,000 a month, of which you're saving $800
a month.
Maybe a little less, maybe a little more, depending on how that month goes.
Bro, look, I'm telling you, like you can budget yourself to where you won't touch even 1,200.
Mm-hmm.
So it's you can, and I'm not exaggerating. Like some people who live a certain type of lifestyle,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they will probably say, "Oh, 1,200 is a little bit," because some people they still buy Fruit Loops and still buy stuff, you
Yeah.
know, that
Yeah.
they're used to.
Yeah.
So, and then some people don't cook. That's
Mm-hmm.
another issue. Like if you
No.
eat out every single day, okay, your bill is going to be more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
If you learn to cook and you're buying vegetables and you're buying from the market and all that stuff, bro, you can go under 1,200.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so and that's saying that you're doing 2,000.
Mm-hmm.
So 2,000 to some people is like, well, that's a lot, but not. I can't see that being a lot these days.
Not in US, in the US, UK, in Europe. Yeah, 2,000 for somebody to be paid £2,000 a month. Yeah, bro, that person is still at home, not paying rent to their parents. I'm telling you, bro, because like I mean it's terrible. I'm saying it, but it's the truth. Like a one room, we call it in the UK a bed sit, which is just a room in a property that 3 or 4 of you share. Yeah, you're talking £700 a month. Yeah, £700 a month. Sorry, bro. Like that ain't paying. That ain't doing. That ain't like £2,000 a month. I mean, you get grown men earning £2,000 a month, bro. £500 a week. Like here, you can't. That's not like that person's, bro. It's not
Bro,
happening.
let me tell you something. There's a brother that, and I mentioned it. I won't mention his name,
Mm-hmm.
but there's a brother that he's paying about $2,500 a month,
Mm-hmm.
and
For an apartment.
no, bro, it's a mansion
Oh, you mean in Egypt? Okay.
in Egypt. It's a mansion. I'm talking
Mm-hmm.
about an elevator inside of it. I'm talking about a swimming pool, a big swimming pool in the backyard, and with a backyard.
Right.
Next to it, next attached to it is an apartment for uh your help, whatever
Uh-huh.
you want to call it. It's a full apartment next door that a family can live in that comes and does your lawn and all that. They live with you. And they have four, it's a bedroom downstairs. So it's 4 bedrooms.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's another bedroom. It's not a bedroom, it's like a theater.
Okay.
Like where if he wanted to watch sports or something, whatever you're gonna watch. He doesn't watch anything, but I'm just saying it's like with recliners and everything, like some stuff you see in big mansions, $2,500 a month. And it's a wall around it, it's gated, it's in a whole villa community. You
Uh-huh.
open up and you have your front yard, you have your backyard. On the roof, it's a jacuzzi, it's a big area. Bro, I'm telling you, like
Yeah.
people, listen, man, listen, bro. It's not, look, the way we see, I think that we should preface it a little bit, because the way that we see money is a lot different than the way other people see money, right?
Mhm.
Money for us in these days and times is to take care of your responsibilities, right?
Mhm.
And it's to give your people a halfway decent life. It's not to put them in harm, like in an area where they may be harmed, or where it's not, it's not clean or something like that. It's just to put them in a decent place,
Mhm.
and to take care of them in a decent way, to
Mhm.
give them those things that you can add to it, maybe like tutors and
Mhm.
Quran teachers and stuff like that. All of that's what we're looking at when it comes to money, not gold teeth and diamond necklaces. And I
Yeah.
pay $1,500 pair of shoes and $1,000 pair of pants. That's not what we're after here.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to say this to say that if a person has means, Allah's blessed you with some form of wealth. And this is not, bro, we're not talking about, this is survival money where we're coming from. $2,000. You can't make, bro, there's no way I can make $2,000 and take care of my family in America. No way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you come here, me, I can take $2,000 and take care of my family.
No.
Can you imagine?
Mm.
So I'm saying that to say that, you know, I don't think people understand the reality of what's going on here
Mm-hmm.
and the opportunity, because it's not just a financial opportunity. It's like, okay, now people, I mean, excuse me, however many years ago, people were, before I was born even, people were coming to the West for opportunity,
No.
right? This is where you can get the education and the job opportunities and the business opportunities. People were coming for that reason. And any of those old school families that lived in the Middle East or not, you know, Pakistan and these places, if they got their children in a school in America, that was it, right?
Mm-hmm.
They made it,
No.
right? But now things are changing.
Yep.
So, especially in this digital world where you can earn money from anywhere that has a connection to the outside world, you can earn money,
Mm-hmm.
right? That being the case, it no longer makes sense to stay in a place. And bro, by the way, I'm on the late show, just to let you know. Like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
late with a lot of the stuff going on in the West. Like, I realized it later that these things have been going on since Obama,
Mm-hmm.
the homosexual stuff, the man in the dress, and all that stuff. That's been going on, and I'm just now finding out. And I'm really, and then people's kids going to school. You go to school, and your son is in a dress,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, "Why is my son in a dress?" Oh, he has to, you know, feel the whatever. He's not sure what he is yet. That weird stuff like that, bro. Like, it's no way that you're gonna pay $5, $6, $7,000 a month to live there when you can earn 2,000 and live in the Muslim world.
No.
It's just illogical. But I think that people just don't know the advancements that have been made.
Mm-hmm.
The people that left back then, yeah, it was like, okay, maybe it was harder, maybe it wasn't as modern, maybe there was no opportunity, or in their minds, no opportunity. So they left
But bro,
for the opportunity. Go ahead.
but bro, like, okay, with my channel, Hamza's Hijrah, what I basically do is I scan through YouTube, I scan through Reddit, I scan through Make Hijrah's comments, like, to find comments that where people have maybe they've asked a question or they've made statements that I can say, okay, well, I can answer that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Bro, there are, unfortunately, and I say this, unfortunately, there are people amongst our ummah who are still regurgitating this stuff like, the people in the Middle East don't want us. Yeah. If it was so, why do they make it so difficult for Muslims to move there? They're just as corrupt as the West, so why would you even bother? The infrastructure is still backwards, so you might as well just stay where you are. If you really want to make hijrah, go and live on a farm somewhere, bro. Oops, sorry, excuse me, bro. Like, and these people are writing these comments, believing that they're making. I don't believe they're writing these comments because they want to say something that they know is asinine. That doesn't make any sense. I think they honestly believe that. Yeah. Because I even said in one of my videos, like, there's two types of people. There's the person who wants to ask a question and he asks a question and expects a direct answer. What do you think about Hijrah to Egypt, for example? Yeah. And then you have the other person who comes out with a statement that if the person had thought about saying it, he wouldn't have said it. But but that's his way or her way of asking a question, saying something he knows makes no sense, saying something that's going to be controversial, where it's going to try and force the person to answer force the person to respond in an answer to, because the person has, because the question is so ridiculous that the person, why would this, right, he's actually asking this question. So there's two types of people. And I just want to say that there are types of, there are people that you find in the comments and things like this that they know what we're saying is in the direction of truth. There's some wisdom to what we're saying. But rather than ask a direct question, they make asinine statements that make no sense, that try and force you to respond rather than just asking a direct question. Yeah. Like what we're saying here, I believe we're going to end up repeating ourselves over and over and over again. The reason why the Muslim world is better, even though it has its problems, is because of A, because of B, because of C, because of D, because of E. Right? Like, and it's no problem. I don't mind repeating myself until Allah takes my last breath, because I'm not making stuff up. You're not making stuff up. Make Hijrah is not making stuff up. Yeah. How many times have I heard you in a video repeat what you have just told the world again live? Like, why would you want to have your children and your family and your mother and your father are being shown things that are disgusting? That's the only word I can say for it. So they're witnessing it, you're witnessing it, your wife is witnessing it, your children are witnessing it, and they're still children. So they're going to grow up, their hearts are going to become numb to that. Yeah. And on top of that, you're having to pay $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a month for that privilege. Where if you just sat down and thought about it and put together a 2-3 year plan, yeah, where it's going to cost you 1/3 of what you're spending now to remove the fitna and facade from your life. Why? How could any Muslim with any rationale think that that's not a better plan? But yet you'll still find them, bro. You'll still find some person in a comment talking about, well, nah, because in Egypt they do so and so and so and so. I might as well just stay in the West. Or what's the point of going to a Muslim country when, here's a classic one, and you know this one, bro. What's the point of going to a Muslim country because they're just as bad as the West? I'm done, I think. Right. I'm done. Sorry to go on that tangent, bro. But like,
no. All right, let's see where we are here. Okay, here's another point that you shouldn't, and this is a whole topic by itself, and we're not going to talk about it right now, but it's something that people should look into, and that's of course investing. And you shouldn't let your money sit in the under the bed, right? You should let it work for you. So that's a whole nother topic. We're not going to talk about it now, but when you do start to build wealth like that, you can't just have it just sitting there. You have to try to find something to invest in. And I'm not going to tell you what to invest in, but you need to look into that. You need to start thinking like how you can make your money work for you. So that's a whole nother topic. There are brothers that, mashallah, that are that do this, and they'll show you their success, and it makes sense, because this is the type of conversation that rich people have, and rich families. They sit around the table and talk about the stocks they're invested in and this, and a lot of us are just unaware of how we can leverage this. There's a lot of projects going on, a lot of things that you can stake your money into. So that's why it's good to have networking groups. You have them in every country, big or small groups, you have them. So once you start to have something built up, don't just have it sitting there. You need to make it work for you. And it doesn't mean just take all the money you saved up for 5 years and dump it in something and lose it. That's not what I mean. I'm saying safe investments. But there are brothers that deal with this. And And this is something you should investigate. It's not something you should just listen to one person and then just say, oh, and then buy into it. No, no, no. You should research this as your wealth grows. You should think about, okay, what can I do with it? How can I put it towards something? Of course, there's the idea of investing in different business opportunities, but again, those are, here and there. You really have to do due diligence, because I've fell into that problem of investing in stuff, and it doesn't always work out. You have to understand risk. You have to, I'm talking about risk, not risk, not risk with a cough. I'm talking about risk, the English word. You have to understand what risk is, and that is no guarantee on a lot of things. So you have to do the safest things with your money. So alhamdulillah, we reached the end of the presentation. And let me see if there's any questions. Just a second.
Can I jump in real quick while you're looking for the questions, bro?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
There was a brother that you and I interviewed. I think he started off in Turkey, and through no doing of himself, he then had to move to Eritrea. You know the brother I'm talking? Very close friend of yours. I knew of him, but he's a very close friend of yours. Anyway,
what was it? What happened?
He went to Turkey, and then he was asked very politely to leave Turkey. So he decided to go to.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And when we interviewed him, he was basically advocating for creating finance or creating a means of income in the country that you're moving to. So like in this example, the person has saved for 5 years or 3 years, and he's got a lump of money. Let's say, for example, he's moved to Egypt. Let's take Egypt as an example. He's been saving $800 a month for 5 years, and I think it was 48,000 US. I even think if he saved half of that, that person could still turn around and look into the country that he's living in. In this case, it'd be Egypt, and be able to push his money into that. Like property, for example, buying a property. Because I think didn't one of your sons buy property, bro?
Yeah.
Yeah, bought a property at a young age, rent it out. Right. You got stable income, like which is another option. Like because you have to look at it like this. You're earning 40,000 US, 40,000 UK pounds. And what me and Omar and I, proper English, and what Omar and I are saying to you is this. You've got £40,000 a year, £50,000, £60,000 a year in the UK or US. And you don't have the opportunity that you would have earning £2,000 once you cross the equator. And I think that is what people are finding difficult to believe, bro. Like you're earning 2,000 US or 2,000 UK pounds on the African continent. And you can envisage, you can make practical steps towards saving up to buying your first property, saving up and buying a plot of land, saving up and saving to invest in some business in the place that you want to remain on 2,000 a month. Now, put in the comments below or talk to us live and tell me if you're earning between 40 and 60 grand a year in either UK and US, and you can do that for that money. I'm interested to see that. And I think that's why, I think to a lot of people, it seems like 2060. No, it can't be done.
It can be done.
It can be done.
It can be done for sure. Fatima. Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. What about establishing services for those on the ground? And I think, well, you can't. You have to see uh, what's what's missing in the market and fill a void, solve a problem. See
Yeah, I
what
mean,
problems you see and solve a problem.
yeah, I think, let's say, for example, let's take the sister's example for a minute. Um, so if you're, let's say, again, we're going to take Egypt for an example. You arrive in Egypt, yeah, and you are amongst the expat sisters community, and you have a skill that will benefit them. For example, hairdressing, manicures, child minding, you bake cakes, you organize events, and you charge a fee to those expats. And I think that's what you're talking about, establishing services on the ground. 100% it can be done. What, in fact, it's a good idea. I mean, we have brothers who are barbers, not so actually, like brothers that come from the US and UK who cut hair, and it's only the expats that go to them because they know how their hair cuts. Yes, you can offer services on the ground and you can build your wealth that way. Whether it will be enough, whether it will be enough to bring you to that 2,000 or that $1,200 mark that me and O are talking about is another thing. It will depend on what service you're offering.
Um, there are people that establish businesses,
Mm-hmm.
and in real unconventional ways. You know, you have
Mm-hmm.
people on Telegram. There's a company, I don't know the name of it. I would promote it, but they sell cookies, like really good cookies. And you order on
Mm-hmm.
Telegram, and the order window is from like 10 a.m. to 4, and people order.
Mm-hmm.
They order, and then they get couriered. They courier the cookies to people. Uh,
No.
there's a brother here that has a storage business, and it's solving a problem because when people leave, sometimes they don't have time to sell everything in the house.
Mm-hmm.
So, or they say, "I'll be back. Can you store my furniture, what have you?" And they have to pay, a storage fee.
Mm-hmm.
So there's people that do that, and then of course English, you know that already.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in places in the Middle East in particular, like you can open up an English business if you can do it right, and you can earn a good living doing that. But all these things take time. It's not like you're going to come in and just pop up and do stuff. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't really work like that. Like you have to be patient. You still have to have some income that is coming in that you're not totally dependent on the business, because the business might not do well early on. It might gain traction later. And I know brothers that open bookstores, clothing stores,
Mm-hmm.
uh, different type of things. And again, you're also earning in a local currency. You have to consider that. So, uh, it's not as lucrative as if you did the things that we mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Those 6 things that'll get you um, a higher income if you worked on that rather than working on something on the ground. But there are people with businesses on the ground that making money. It's multi-million-dollar businesses
Mm-hmm.
on the ground in the Muslim world for sure. And again, the Khalij areas are a little different. You know, it's not people really don't like some countries. People want to get out of there and go to the West.
Mm-hmm.
In other countries, they're not trying to leave. Like they're good. You're not going to find many of them leaving unless they're going for university or something like that. Then they're going right back
No.
because they have it good in their country. So it's not. Or don't think that all Muslims are trying to leave their countries. It's not
Mm-hmm.
like that. Even the Malaysians, you'll find that. And Malaysia is a country where the cost of living is lower. But you don't. If Malaysians go to a place, generally they're coming back. That's you. You can't find that many big, large Malaysian communities in the West because they're happy with their country.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a fact. So anyway, I don't know if Hamza wanted to add anything, but I'm gonna move on.
No, that's it, bro.
Let me see what this one. This is Yamin Rami, I think. Well, I believe it's because of how hard it is to establish a successful one in a country that they have just migrated to, not knowing a lot about the culture and customs and the way people conduct business. Yeah, you have to learn, man.
No, trial and error.
You know, yeah, you have to learn how people do things.
Mhm.
Um, it's that again, this thing is not an instant thing. Like you have to understand. It's good to even get a trustworthy partner in the country that you're in.
Mhm.
Somebody or like Brother Hamza. I don't know how much
Mhm.
he wants to talk about it, but he served a particular role in a business that wasn't front facing.
Mhm.
The business with I forgot his name, the Egyptians, the Egyptian guys
No.
that you did business with. You
Yeah.
served a particular role in that business where you didn't have to be in the front or at the cash register.
I was a
So
silent. Yeah, I was a silent partner in a business established by two Egyptian brothers, and they compensated me very well. And that was because I had access to a facility that they needed. Bottom
mm,
line.
and that's by the way, you'd be surprised.
Mhm.
Like when we were in Turkey, uh the land I think my son's landlord, my son's landlord, um, we went to visit him in his factory. So he had a factory that made tractor parts, like farming equipment parts, the big industrial farming equipment parts.
Mhm.
So for him, the opportunity for him with us was, can you get me into your market?
Mhm.
Right. So it's not that now I have to learn Turkish and go talk to Turkish businessmen or anything like that.
Uh,
The thing is that he needs me for a certain role that I can play well.
mhm.
And he doesn't need me for to talk to his people. He's
Mhm.
like, I need you to talk to your people. I need
Mhm.
you to connect me with businessmen that need what I have.
Mhm.
So that's a business that you can start. I mean, that's free game for you. Like any
Yeah.
place you go, there are businessmen that want to expand outside of where they are,
Mhm.
outside of the local market and go to the international market. But a lot of times they don't know how, and they don't have people in place that know the people that can buy what they have to offer. So
Mhm.
there's a business by itself. You can start a business
Facilitator.
connecting people.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
now a facilitator. Yeah.
Yeah, you become a facilitator and you can earn a commission. And I met a brother like this. Like this is not,
Mhm.
bro, these are not just theories that we're talking. I met a
Mhm.
brother from Iraq. He's an Iraqi brother in Turkey. And he was the facilitator between the Turkish company and outside because he could speak English and he was
Mhm.
a hustler. He can go get it.
Mhm.
So that was a match made in heaven, so to speak.
Mhm.
You got somebody that's going to go sell the stuff, and you got somebody that's manufacturing the stuff. And
Mhm.
again, he wasn't Turkish. So that's a perfect example of something like that. So, but again, these things take time to build. It's not
Mhm.
something that you're going to just do tomorrow. It's not like that. You can establish the relationship tomorrow, and then you have to build it. You
Mhm.
have to work it. You don't. And unfortunately, and I end here. You have certain cultures that don't care about being told no.
Yeah.
And Egyptians are those people. Like a guy can come up to you trying to sell you something you don't even know what it is. Like it's something he has, and he's like, yeah, on you, and you're like, no, I'm no,
No.
no, no,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
he'll stay with you until you pay him to leave.
Yeah.
That's how bad it is. Okay, man, just take this 5 pounds and go ahead. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So you have people that no does not hurt them.
Mhm.
They have tough skin. Unfortunately, with a lot of Westerners, if they're told no 3 times, then they quit,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So you have to be that person that's like a go-getter. Like I don't care. I'm gonna get 100 no's. I'm gonna get a
Mhm.
hundred no's till I get a yes,
Yeah.
right? That's how business is. If you don't have that type of tough skin, then you have to get a job. You have to find some place to work. You know,
Mhm.
business might not be for you.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm sorry. Maybe even okay. Here's another. It says maybe even because you are dealing with local currency, which is the worst option if you have the ability to get dollars or euros through an online business. True.
100%. 100%. And I give myself the advice first. Yeah. Because now again I'm saying it publicly and it's going to be recorded. Yeah. I've now reached the point where my situation has to change. So I have to, and I'm advising others. Yeah. take a couple of hours to find out when we're talking about, we're not saying you have to get into online business. I'm saying take the minute and look at, okay, if I were to go into the online business world, what could I do? If you're like me, who's a talker, YouTube is perfect. I don't mind say I'm an open book. I don't really care what I say. I just say it. Yeah. If you're somebody more reserved, like our eminent sheikh here, you want to do something behind. You want to do something. Yeah, you want to do something behind where nobody knows you. There are thousands of literally thousands of different ideas or different ways you can make money online, and nobody has to know what it is. So there's something for everybody. Because I know people are like, oh, I don't want my face to be on YouTube, and I don't want to be on Instagram. I hear you, folks. I hear you. But my skill is talking. So the first thing I'm going to do is utilize that. So now I have to now use that skill of talking to think, okay, now how can I get people to pay me for the value that I'm offering when I'm talking? That's my next step. Then once I've done that, now I have to go, okay, if somebody pays me 17 or 17.99 for this product, how am I going to deliver it to them? It's a simple step as that. Or if email marketing, if I want to set up an email, if I want to do email marketing or set up a newsletter or something like that, okay, nobody's going to know it's me. I can use a pseudonym. It doesn't have to be me. Even though my name is Mohammed Akbar, in my newsletter is John Smith, and I'm offering value. Okay, so now I'm getting all these subscribers. How now can I get them people to pay me for my service that I'm offering them, which is giving them advice or offering them a service? Nobody has to know who you are. So before, and I'm giving myself that advice too first. So before people turn off the option of an online business, do some research first. That's what I would advise.
All right. So is drop shipping better for a beginner online business? Or should I buy products wholesale and resell them online at the retail price? I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. There's an issue, but hold on, bro. Before you answer that,
Yeah.
there's an issue with drop shipping that I don't know what it is. And so I'm not going to enter into the drop shipping conversation because I don't know, to be honest. And I tried to stop Brother Hamza because he was going to go all in. But listen, there's some issue with drop shipping. I don't know what it is, right?
Yeah.
But there's a difference between, and I just want to mention this because it's kind of an important point, that you can't sell what you don't have, right? So, and that's known. That's a known principle and fiqh that you can't sell what you don't have, right? And but it's a difference between doing that and going to Brother Hamza, and Brother Hamza has he's selling whatever t-shirts, and I asked him, can I sell those t-shirts that you have as like a salesman? So at that stage, I'm kind of like a person that's selling for him, which is a different case. So you can go to a place and say, can I sell what you these whatever it is for you, and take a commission for selling those things, and then you set up a whole online shop to sell the thing that you agreed to sell for this person, which is a different thing. It's not a thing, a drop shipping thing. So I don't know what Hamza wants to add to that. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I looked into drop shipping. I've done extensive research into drop shipping, and Amazon FBA, which is basically you buy products in bulk, they put it into Amazon warehouse, and then as soon as you get a sale, they ship it out from their warehouse to the client. Right. Drop shipping. Okay, if you buy 100 cups and they're stored in a place in your room, and anybody comes to buy it, and then you receive the money first, you then package the product and you send it to them. That's like, I have no issue with that. But the issue I have is when you buy 100 of these beakers, You then store it at somebody else's place. You then get a sale. Now you have to inform the warehouse that you've got a sale, and then you're trusting the fact that they're going to deliver your product to the individual. So usually that's how it works. You also have something similar, which is called print on demand. Print on demand is where you can design a T-shirt, for example. It's usually well known for T-shirts. So you design a T-shirt, a digital image of this T-shirt, you put it up in their store. When somebody buys that T-shirt, that request is then sent to the manufacturer. They sell that, they print and design that T-shirt in whatever color they've chosen, and they send it to the individual, which is it's like a midway between drop shipping and FBA, but you don't actually own the product, which might be an issue. I don't think it is an issue because the person is buying something that is going to be designed and shipped out as soon as they get the money. So it's, you know what I mean? That might be a shady area. But what I would do to, what was it? Ashkal Islam 6629. I would look on to print on demand. Print on demand. I would stay away from anything where you're trusting somebody else to warehouse your goods to sell. Like, for example, let me give you an example. If you're buying black seed oil in Egypt, and you set yourself up a Shopify store, yeah, and you have customers who can then all over the world who want to buy your black seed oil, you can go to the market in Egypt, in Khan Khalilia, one of them places there, and buy a jar of black seed oil and put them into little small vials, and as soon as you get an order, send it worldwide. So that can be done. That might be an easier way. So I hope that was I hope that helped.
All right, bro, we're gonna end it here. It's been
2 hours, 2 hours and 2 minutes. I'm sure they're fed up with us now, bro.
Yeah, they are. So we're gonna end it here. We'd like to thank everybody for coming. Alhamdulillah, we plan to do these on a consistent basis unless Brother Hamza can't make it. But
unless you come late.
Right.
Unless Brother O comes late. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, inshallah, we plan on doing these consistently, and inshallah, if you have any questions, please don't feel shy to prepare questions ahead of time. That's why we're here live, because we can answer the questions live while we're talking. We might talk and spark some curiosity, and then we can answer the questions right there. Both of us have lived outside of the UK and the US for a number of years, so we have some experience and some insight that maybe other people may not have. And we're currently like here, like I'm here, I'm in Egypt, alhamdulillah. Brother Hamza, he's in the UK now, but he's usually in Tanzania. So we do have some experience living abroad, and any questions or anything you have, feel free, inshallah, in going into the future to prepare for that. We usually go live every Wednesday and Sunday, and I'm thinking we may end up changing the time on the Wednesday one, because I'm not sure what time it is where the viewers are, but where we're at now, where I'm at is it's almost midnight. Right. And 20, I think Brother Hamza, it's like almost 10 o'clock or something.
Yeah, 20 minutes before 10, yeah.
Okay. All right, so subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Catch you up, Sheikh. See you soon, bro.
All right, bro. All right, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
If you're a Muslim who already has the financial means to make Hijrah, but still hasn't made the move yet, then you need to consider the Hijrah Plan program. As a private consulting client, we help you thoroughly plan your family's relocation from A to Z, and then we connect you with our partners on the ground in the Muslim country you've chosen. They then can help you get settled in seamlessly once you've arrived. To see if you qualify, go to hijrahplan.com or check the link in the description.